Hello, for today's video I wanted to take a Buzzfeed quiz to tell me what kind of reader I am. First question is, which question do you ask yourself before starting a book? What is the author's purpose? I wonder if this is going to be interesting. Will I enjoy reading this? Who is the intended audience? I think I'm between two. Either I wonder if this is going to be interesting or will I enjoy reading this? I do think that the more interesting it is, the more that it will appeal to me. And sometimes a book can be interesting in the absence of enjoyment in a weird way. I don't think I actively think about whether or not I'll enjoy a book. That is just something that I find out as I'm reading it. While reading, you consider the genre you are reading, reread what you have read multiple times, mark up the text, get bored easily. Okay, again, I'm between two. Either reread what you have read multiple times or mark up the text. I am the type to reread the book as I'm reading it for the first time because sometimes I just like to revisit parts, especially if I feel like something later on in the book happens that gives that seemingly insignificant part of the book more significance. I would like to revisit it with a different lens. But I am also the type to love scribbling in my books. I think I'll go with mark up the text. What do you do when you write? I don't really write or like to write. Adopt the techniques that you've read into your own writing. Take into consideration how you should approach your topic. Warm up with a writing exercise. I think I'm the type to take into consideration how I would approach whatever topic I'm tackling. I think subconsciously I do adopt the techniques that I've read into my own writing, but I don't do it actively, which is why I'm not going to pick that option. What type of questions do you ask yourself while you read? What kind of evidence is being used and how is it being supported? Is the word choice/tone appropriate for this piece? How long is this chapter going to keep going on? I just read and don't think too much about it, to be honest. Damn, I really think this depends on what type of book I'm reading. Yeah, I feel like this one's a hard one because a lot of them apply. So I'll pick an in-between. No. I do think I'm a critical reader to a certain degree, but also there are some books that I just read and don't really think that much about. I'll just go with what kind of evidence is being used and how is it being supported, but there are times where I just read and I don't really think about anything. What do you do when you mark up the text? Highlight the text with multiple colors. I think of questions sometimes, but don't bother to write them down. I underline text with my pen. I just read and don't mark up the text. I do highlight the text and I do underline text with my pen. So there's two. I'll go with underline text with my pen. I believe writing is a series of choices. Honestly, I'm not really sure what that means. As in, you choose what's going to happen next in the story. I guess true then, but maybe I'm misunderstanding what this means. When you finish reading, you analyze the writing techniques of the author, are proud of yourself because you are finally finished reading, think about how you've had enough reading for a good while, discuss the book with friends who've also read it. I don't think I'm usually that happy when I finish a book, especially if it's one that I enjoyed because it's over. And usually when I finish a book, I want to immediately pick up another book. So I don't think it's think about how you've had enough reading for a good while. Maybe analyze the writing techniques of the author, but again, that also depends on the text. But I think I probably do that more often than discuss the book with friends who've also read it, because I don't think I read the same type of books as many of my friends, so it doesn't overlap all too much. When I read, I carefully look at sentence structure. False. I don't unless the author gets very creative with it in some way that makes it like very hard to avoid. It says I read like a writer. While reading, you really take into consideration the different techniques that the author incorporated into their writing and get inspired to include it in your writing as well. You are very analytical when you read. I mean, I would like for that to be true. I think it's a good thing for me to read as a writer because writing is one of my hobbies, but I'm not sure to what extent I agree.